So I'm Joe Channer and I am the owner founder of StormLDN, a boxing gym in Queen's Park. StormLDN is a new kind of community gym, founded for two particular reasons. So the first one's a very social one. So when I was 15, by the way, I should just say I've lived in this area my entire life. I'm 51 now. But when I was a lot younger, this area wasn't the same as it is today. It's quite deprived. And I lived on some of the worst estates in London that were not too far from here. And I slipped into the wrong crowd, gangs, and I stopped going to school. It was a pretty difficult time for me. And there were then youth clubs and adult volunteers who gave their time, if people wanted to take it, to inspire people like myself, a bit lost, to try to redirect them and to think about things in a different way. And I've had some very important and fond memories of people who gave me that time. And I wanted to recreate that because I don't see those facilities available anymore. What I do see is increased knife crime, challenges across London, and I was at a dinner party just as we went into lockdown, and my daughter said to me, what do we do about it? What do adults do about this challenge? And this was my response. I run a very large consulting and service business in financial services. I had a career in investment banking as the COO of a global bank. I sold part of that business in February 2020, and with those funds I wanted to do a social project for the community. I've lived around here all my life. My daughters went to local school in Salisbury School, so it just felt absolutely right to just try and add some value to the area. And actually this whole debate about what's the future of high roads, I really feel there was a space for a quality fitness place that was run in a different way. And that different way is an experience that came from when I lived in Amsterdam, where an ex-boxer had his own gym. And I just markedly observed a difference in behaviour from when I was in the London sort of branded gyms. It was very personal, it connected me to the other people I was training with, I've made friends. And whenever I went in there, I thought everyone knows your name, and it was a really fun place to be. And it was run with integrity. And he used to give some children from the Belmer estate, which is on the south of Amsterdam, some opportunities to train as a PT. So it really inspired me. The reason why it has to be a gym, from one perspective, is because it has to deliver a very good, high-quality fitness product. Queen's Park's an affluent area. People have a high benchmark for quality. I didn't want it to be a charity project, so I wanted to first of all deliver a business that could be self-sustaining through profit, and those profits helped support what we're doing socially with the kids. But I still wanted to bring a different proposition to the high road and remind people what we all love about Queen's Park is it does have this edge to it. We do like to keep it real. Our academy houses up to the ambition is for 18 young people, but initially 6, and we hope in Q1 next year we move to 12. And those young people come to us from a number of different sources, and we offer them one-to-one training once a week, so they get assigned a mentor in one of the coaches. So prerequisite for a coach working with us is they must believe in the academy concept and be prepared to invest some time in mentoring the kids. Once a week, one-on-one, and then there's a group session, and then we provide them with all of their boxing kit, and then there's just mentorship all the way through. Some of them have had the opportunity to join as assistant PTs, and some of them have worked covered off in the coffee shop. Yeah, I should have said we have a specialty coffee shop next to the gym. The original idea was to just do it local. It was a lockdown project. I actually, with some of the founding guys like Dembo Joby, who's the co-partner of mine, we built the gym from scratch. The premises that we acquired in the building was an old warehouse. We literally lifted every floorboard, all the central heating and the electrics, and we've only just today actually finished the showers and bathrooms. So it was a project that was very important to me, that I did it myself because it meant that also the money that we were leaving in the business was for the right things. So it's been a real labour of love in that respect, yeah. We're not strictly boxing, so we do strength and fitness. There's also some yoga classes, etc. So there's other areas to get involved in, but we're not looking to find the next world champion or anything like that. I think boxing if people are open to it. It's a non-contact gym. You know, the young people and the residents in this area that try it for the first time find that it's a very stress-releasing activity. It's fun, and you know, there's a skill element to it. That through the impact, you're leaving something on the bag. You know, you're not holding it in. We found parents, for example, who've had kids who have been quite challenging at home. Maybe they're having a bad time at school. They've found the behaviour at home has become so much better since they've had this outlet. And I think it's also the case when the kids have conversations with us as mentors, there's things that we can say and maybe they'll listen because we're not their parents, and they find that kind of that perspective interesting. I mean, I can measure the success already in the sense we've got over 1,000 people signed up since we started in May, 1,000 customers. I mean, the feedback we get is tremendous. I mean, people telling us it's added such a value to their personal lives, to the community, their children involved, and we have some people that come literally every day. I'm a structural part of their life. And I think the success will be that we get the academy to full scale 18 kids, and that those kids get involved in the gym ongoing, and that is fully funded without any top-up investment from me by the ecosystem that we've created. So, you know, there's fun, you know, personal fitness ambitions being achieved, social cohesion, but also the kids know that all those adults are indirectly contributing to that good outcome, that they care. It's a good question. Sometimes, I mean, and this is not going to be for everybody because this situation doesn't exist, and that's a different story, but I would say that sometimes when you've got nothing, you have to respond. I had family members, for a lot of reasons that are too long to explain now, that needed my support. I felt responsible. I was living on my own from the age of 16. I had a younger brother. Parents were in a very bad situation because of illness in the family, and I just felt I had to respond. So that was, I think, when there's no one to catch you, you know, you either, unfortunately, you either sink or you swim and you survive. And actually those experiences, those foundational experiences, living on the estates, actually, you know, being involved, negative of course to be involved in groups of people sort of being violent and stuff with each other, but it's just a consequence of the reality of living in those environments. But it learned me some tremendous life skills. When I eventually made the decision to go to night school when I was 21, I had my first daughter, and again that was the next I need to respond. And I went to night school for 2 years, washed dishes, cut grass, clean cars, and then 4 years at university. I actually graduated when I was 28, so I only went into financial services when I was 28, and that was just that pure determination to make something better of my life. So I think the message to people is, if it means something to them, is that you can make it happen, you can change it. It needs that absolute self-determination, absolute focus, hard work, because no one's going to do it for you. You've got to make it happen. When I actually got into banking, I had this, again, quite interesting set of circumstances. I got to quite senior management quite quickly. I was leading large parts of the organisation, thousands of people in some cases. Those early experiences, when it came to managing the politics of the organisation, standing my ground, absolutely came into play. I mean, for me, again, going back to when I was growing up here, sort of in the 70s and early 80s, it was just such a hive of different communities. I mean, that's just what's front and centre. Actually experienced other parts. I mean, you could say this is the same across London, but there's something about Northwest, something about NW, where I think we really achieved a harmonisation, at least when I was younger, that was quite unique. And I had friends from all ethnic backgrounds, and there was real cohesion. I mean, in the estates where there was concentration of communities, there was sort of challenges, but generally speaking, I think it's always been a very respectful, a real community environment, and that's always something that immediately, if I leave London, I miss that vibe of NW, that connectivity. Well, first of all, I mean, it's a tremendous fit out. I mean, what Johnny and Dan have done here is created a really aspirational place to come and do business, where you're, as a small business, you're not looking for a significant fixed cost. You want the right environment to work in, to get that concentration away from home. You're looking for a nice place to invite, you know, clients and business partners. They've done a tremendous job of that. So I think, especially since COVID, everyone's now sort of reassessing what's the work-life balance versus work operating model. And I think a number of days at home and a number of days in your place of work is the new model. And And a place like this makes it very feasible to do it locally as well, without actually even going into the centre of London. And if you think about it, I mean, again, it's the problem with what's the emerging high street story. I think places like this are community, you know, they bring businesses together, the network effect. There's a lot of power behind a business like this in our high streets. We should welcome them and people should use them so that they stay part of the story. I mean, my firm is 1,500 staff in the London office, and we're absolutely the case. It's work-life balance. I don't want everyone in the office all the time. You know, we've all enjoyed taking our kids to school, working a slightly longer day to accommodate for that, and I don't think anyone's slacking off. I think the model works. But there is importance in people coming in periodically to collaborate, and actually we're redesigning our entire 4 different London offices. We're consolidating the whole company into a single office space, and it's going to be designed much more around collaboration and client hosting. It requires a completely redesign of why you bring people into the office.
Yeah,
so I think banks will adapt because people are demanding it, and if they want the talent, they're going to have to adapt. And if the hedge fund guys, you know, have to work all the hours of the world, they're going to the city every day. Well, fair play. So, good for them.
Now we're just going to do some light touch, silly questions.
Yeah.
Football or rugby?
And you've chosen the most difficult one. I love both games. I'm going to say league-wise football, because of course I support QPR, the local club. But I love football and I used to play at a reasonably high level when I was younger. Internationally, I prefer to watch the rugby. Very, very keen on the rugby.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Mexican or Italian?
Italian.
Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Cat or dog?
I have to say a dog, I've got a dog. Loyalty to my poodle.
City or countryside?
City.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
I think you're an early bird and a night owl, aren't you?
No, I'm actually surprisingly a slow starter in the morning, hence the coffee.
Google or Zoom?
Google.
Train or plane?
Depending on the distance, there you go. But normally it's multiple hours, fly.
Mayfair or Shoreditch?
Shoreditch. Shoreditch for night out, Mayfair for lunch. There you go.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, cool.